At the end of the day, it's all about freedom.
My thought right away is like, you know, I don't know. I haven't really looked into the actual details of like what he did or what he's accused of doing. But I kind of felt like for Fox News to fire Bill O'Reilly, you know, he's just been such a cash cow for them that I'd imagine there must have been something really, you know, that they thought was going to really look bad for the company. I mean, it's hard not to, you know, think about, okay, well, what was this guy's impact? What was his legacy? I mean, he was the biggest guy in cable news, and now it's over. And you know, certainly I'm sure a lot of people are thrilled on the left because Bill O'Reilly was like the, you know, for a long time, he was really the face of the evil to the left. And then on the flip side of it, to a lot of people was like their hero. For me personally, I'm like, good riddance, man. I think that's great that his show's off the air, to be honest. I think Bill O'Reilly was like a disaster. I got to say, I think he was really like, as corny as it comes off, he was like bad for the country. And I'm glad to see those guys leave. I always remember when he had Ron Paul on. If it wasn't so idiotic and important, it would have just been a hilarious moment. But they're having a heated argument. I forget exactly what it came off of, but I think Ron Paul's basically talking about blowback. You know, he's like, okay, so we can't do this because it generates all this hate. And I forget what exactly Bill O'Reilly said, but then Ron Paul at one point just goes, look, when we went into Iran in 1953 and overthrew the Shah, overthrew Mossadegh and installed the Shah, there was blowback. This made them hate us like that. And Bill O'Reilly goes, and he just starts yelling, we don't need a history lesson. I don't need a history lesson from you. And I remember this it just stuck out as such a funny moment to me where Ron Paul is just making this argument and he goes, well, look, in 1953, and then like Bill O'Reilly starts yelling, we don't need a history lesson. Like it's like his rule was like, we're not allowed to talk about history. It's just such a funny thing where you're just kind of like making this argument and you start to go, well, look, this is what happens in the past. You go, hey, no history here. It was just one little moment, but that like summed up what Bill O'Reilly was to me and what he was for all these fucking years. It's like, oh, don't make this intelligent. Don't get history in here. Don't make any like he was. We were talking about on the last episode how there just really is this incredible like dumbing down of America in all aspects, and the political discourse is like a great example of that. How we go from like the firing line with William Buckley to, you know, Hannity. How did that happen? And by the way, I'm not a fan of either of those fucking guys, but, you know, let's be honest about what was an intellectual conversation and what isn't. And, you know, it's not so surprising that the way Trump speaks is appealing to people. I mean, I got to say, I know it's almost like so obvious and people have hit this, you know, I know the left has hit this for so long, but literally I was just watching a Trump press conference today and it's like, you just can't believe that the president of the United States speaks in such simple, like fourth grade language. It's really fucking weird. Anyway, so in terms of this whole dumbing down of America, I think Bill O'Reilly was like right at the center of that and a big part of it. His show was always just fucking, it was entertaining at points, but it was just dumb. I mean, he would dumb down everything. And he had no true values. He would claim to oppose the left, but he was, would just support big government Republicans all the time. Totally bowed down to the war stuff. Totally, bowed down to all the worshiping the cop stuff. I mean, to me, it was just like kind of the worst of the right wing. And I will say, I'm not like putting this on some like libertarian purity test. Like I think what Tucker does is a very valuable service. I think Tucker is doing a great thing because at least he's taking on like the real heart of like crazy left wing shit and exposing it. He's doing a really great job of exposing how nutty the left wing has gotten, and he's critical about the war stuff, and he kind of keeps an open mind, and he's actually, like I said, he's actually kind of raising the bar of like intelligent discourse rather than lowering it. So O'Reilly, to me, those guys are like, it's an interesting thing because O'Reilly kind of like, and I'm sure this is part of it too. Part of the reason why he is gone is because he represented something that was dying.